Hello, the Rose Room discussion. Bussing and sometimes cussing. Had a little jump off at the beginning. That's my new song I produced. It's called LOS. OS. Supposed to be on some lo-fi type jump off. Trying to expand my musical, you know, skills. And I noticed that Facebook tried to, I guess, not play my music. So let me tell this again to Facebook and the people on Facebook that's controlling the algorithms. This is my music I produce. I can slice, cut it up, just like how people slice, cut up old black music. There's no problem with them doing it. So what the fuck are you in my business for trying to stop me as an entrepreneur? Don't be an asshole, okay? Don't be a fucking asshole and don't try to block my shit because it's out of pocket. It's some whole shit and it ain't really cool. And if I have a chance to utilize my platform as a male of my nationality and speak on some stuff that I want to speak on, that's my business. That's why this whole platform was made and created, right? Am I correct? So, to any person that is at Facebook that's an asshole that's trying to stop my algorithm, even though I still got hits, but I'm just seeing that, you guys try to block my content like the music I produce is not mine. It is mine, you fucking asshole. It's been mine. You can go to the actual sites and you see my name. Now, if you're trying to debate if I made the music from scratch, no, none of the music is made from scratch nowadays by anybody. It's auto tunes and it's shit that's made. So don't come with that bullshit trying to put me in some type of fucking little box like I cannot express myself my own way. I digress. Back to the situation. I wanted to speak on some things I just heard about. And as you can see, I know my cousins and them are all happy because their football team won, which to me is it's cool. I have no problem with that. I was just recently under the spell of thinking that the whole sport was real, but then I actually watched a bunch of different videos showing that these individuals were passing the ball to people and dropping the ball purposely and not even tackling some people. So it kind of questioned me, like, what are we really watching again? Like, is this a game or is this already set? And we already know what two teams are going to be in there. Everybody knew that that team from the East was not going to win. We all knew this. It's already pre-programmed. So let's just stop with the bullshit. Let's just stop with the make believe and the, you know, games that we're playing. And go bump my lo-fi shit. But yeah, I don't just run my mouth and just talk shit. I express myself just like everybody else in America. You have a freedom and a right to. That's why your forefathers and everybody else went to war. I know my grandfather was in the military. My cousins was in the military. My uncle died, passed away. He was in the military. Rest in peace to him. Um, I had a bunch of people in the military. Like I said, me myself, I was in the Forest Service. I fought fire for 9 years. Did conservation. I did a home equipment delivery technician. I did recycling specialist. Became a supervisor almost there. But I decided to move on. Um, I did a bunch of different jobs, landscaping, all kind of stuff. So I know what it is to work. I'm not just a person running my mouth who has not done anything in life and just full of shit. Okay. I don't sit at home. I'm not pampered by my parents. I don't get everything for free and work out for free and then talk shit about somebody and tell them not to say nothing because I just feel like they don't need to talk because somehow they're not up to par with my perfection of a person, you know. And like I said, we're not all perfect, right? And everybody has their own opinion from their own standpoint. So you can't tell another person how to think, feel, and what to say in life. They have their own projection of what they want to do and what they want to say and what they want to do and believe. And you got to take that as, you know, as it comes. You know, we allow everybody else to have their opinion about us as black males. A lot of people will talk about how we're not working and how we're not efficient and how we're not good and how we're this and that. And they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. That's the funny thing about it. But people allow them to have their opinion. So that's why I got this, bought my own stuff, paid for it, have my own two trademarks, which is on my Facebook page. You can see them, the numbers, everything else. It shows you. Um, like every person of my nationality, we don't really win in the game, but we do establish ourselves. And then we have to keep pushing harder than others because, people will try to figure out ways to stop you from developing in your growth because they want to either control you or want you under them. And they think that, I guess, racism still exists or we're in 1960 or something. Some people's mindsets is crazy. But give me a sec. I'm going to come back. I'm going to leave you with another little slapper slumper that I made. This one right here is kind of funny because it's about a female, private part, which I remixed, made. Sorry about that. Which is very good. Can you turn it off? So give me a second. I'm gonna get right back at you, but I'm gonna play this and leave you with this. Know the pussy, huh? That's the name of the song. He says, "Know the pussy," right? Okay. Yeah, I remixed that song and made that off another song and remixed it and made it because I feel why not? That's how music to me is. It's always something you can make out of something else. The song may be good, but you can make your own version of the song and flip it and do whatever the fuck you want to do because that's what people do. And now to that subject. I know a lot of people have passed away, late greats, and their estates sued a lot of people for stealing their music. Now, I know a lot of people would like to say hip hop is not music and this and that, but I also think to myself, why do these same people that say this steal old black music and don't make their own shit and will sample a black song and create it into their song and make a hit and won't even pay the fucking estate of the person who owns the music until they get caught. But every time we put something out, they want to try to degrade it and talk about it doesn't sound good. But then they give all the power to stuff that's negative. You notice that? The stuff that their companies are linked to, like these large companies that, fund these young children to spin the block and give them money to buy large machine guns and all kind of stuff of that nature and do that type of thing, that they do to entertain a lot of these other nationalities. That's why you can see like they're trying to make that as like the norm for us. And most of us that don't want to have that norm and we have other mindsets and we do all kind of other things, we break those stereotypes. And I feel like they're very biased on that. And they'll try to figure out ways to, like I said, mess with your algorithm. They'll try to find out ways like right now I'm dealing with this platform who keeps trying to state that the music that I make is not mine, telling me it's not cleared in certain companies. Or I mean, sorry about that, with companies, and it's not cleared in certain states, it's not cleared in certain countries, and I'm like, what the fuck do you mean is it not cleared in certain states, countries, and I own the fucking music, asshole. It's very crazy because when I go to Facebook, I can see somebody from a foreign country having sex, beating a dog on Facebook. Um, uh, Opening up somebody's vaginal. I seen a woman having a birth. I mean, that was all pretty much disgusting. So I'm thinking to myself, how does Facebook allow that onto their platform? But then when you have a certain opinion to have a conversation of dialogue and intellect or just anything of that nature, just to, you know, speak to people on a podcast, they seem to drown you out and state that some of the stuff that you're saying is not facts. So who's really sitting down at these companies listening to everything that we're saying? Who's critiquing everything? Because these same people are not critiquing all these fucking drugs on the streets that's being sold, right? As you can see, it's fentanyl all over the place. They don't know what the fuck to do with that, but they're pretty sure can sit down and listen to you talk on Facebook for hours about stuff that everybody else does. And you can see the people that's behind it are the same people that push the same agenda of racism. They're cowards, full of shit. They'll hide out, watch you from a distance, talk shit, try to tell people you don't know what you're doing in life, but they themselves have not even done what you've done. And they'll make up a fucking story that ain't even true just to act like they're vibing with you. But when it comes to the truth, full of shit, point blank. So I don't really go there with people. I'm not into any racism. My cousins are mixed. I have a lot of them of different nationalities, so I don't go there. But when it comes to people of my skin color, they always try to either act as if we don't know what we're doing in life. I really think that the true factor is that they don't know what they're doing in life, or they don't want us to have our own life. Because if we had our own money in our own life, like we were supposed to get that lump sum, we wouldn't be in this position. We would be doing things way beyond this. But as you can see, this is the reason why they keep a close eye on everything you're doing and try to monitor you like as if you're a terrorist. But when you look, you can see there's nothing going on of terror. And as you can see with me, um, my record is 100% clean. I don't get involved in anything type of criminal. Never have. You know what I mean? Even though we come from these elements of inner city communities, we still have intelligence enough to know what to do in our life. That's proper. And as you can see, like entertainers and people that are in positions to play, I guess you would say, nationals, um, sports or franchises, things of that nature, or however you want to describe them as. I don't really want to speak on it because I don't really think now it's real anymore, but you know what I mean. Basically, um, they're able to do what they want to do and able to show you that they're able to accomplish these things, but everything is limited here in this country. They limit you at a certain amount. They don't let you bypass that, and then they want you to go with the script. And if you go outside of the script, they try to intimidate you in some ways, like as if you're not supposed to be able to speak your mind or do what you want to do. And then when it comes to them coming face to face with you, they'll tell somebody that you're crazy or lost and things of this nature, but they don't ever have proof of purchase of any of these receipts. And it's been done for years and years and years to a lot of people. And that's why I feel like I needed to get this Rose Room discussion. You know what I mean? Need to speak on some stuff that I'm seeing out here that's not really proper. Another thing I was seeing today, and that I'm starting to kind of get on you know, the mindset of understanding. Um, there's a lot of people that have racial bias and don't know anything about our nationality and what we accomplished here. They don't know all the stuff we built. They don't understand about how we put this country together. They don't even understand how we even got them where they're at with their income and put them in a better position when they got here. And as you can see, most of us are here for a long periods of time. We have to, like some people would say, um, put your boots on and strap them up and pretty much go out and, just work. You don't really get a cushion for yourself. And then when you do find a cushion, like, these little programs that they have here, they will treat you as if you're a criminal. They don't treat you like an American citizen when you get the programs that they offer to American citizens. They will offer them to other people and treat them like as if they're the best thing ever. And then these people will not have any respect for people that been here who paved the way and done all the stuff for them before that period of time. Now, I'm not talking about people that's coming across the border at all. I'm talking about individuals that are coming from foreign places that are getting large amounts of lump sums. And if you don't believe me and you don't want to believe me, go ahead, do your research, look up the grants. because I looked up a lot of grants. Um, when I first got my business and I first paid my lawyer, the first thing I asked my lawyer was, "Hey, are there grants that I can get as an African American to help me start my business?" And they told me, "Well, there's some, but there's kind of limited, and there are certain places, and you have to do this and that and that." And I'm like, "Wow, that's really deep." And I thought to myself, "Wow." When I looked up the grant myself, went to the actual website, it was a lot of grants, but none of them were really for black males. And some of the ones that were very hard to get. You had to go through a lot of different stages. I had to go through giving my bank account, my ideas. I didn't really feel comfortable giving somebody else my ideas because I don't know if they would steal it. But in this day and age, with these type of loans and grants, you got to go through a lot of stuff. And then I didn't want to touch any PPP loans because I've seen a lot of people getting caught for fraud, getting arrested. And me myself, I don't really steal money from anybody. I earn all the money I get. I didn't work from late age 11 all the way up to now. So I've never been without a job. Just for a small period of time, I think, when I lived in a place in the Pacific Northwest, because, like I said, they had a very bias up there. It was full of a lot of drugs. Um, they had a lot of gang stuff going on, um, robberies, and the element up there was kind of like off at the moment. But I, you know, digressed, pushed hard, pushed harder, got something on the temp, and then I got my money up and left out of there because that place isn't a place for people of my nationality too much. As you can see, if you ever decide to go to YouTube and look up the Pacific Northwest in that area, Washington, Seattle, you'll see all the violent crime. You'll see what goes on up there. It's very deep. Also, wanted to touch on another subject too about another place I lived in. I'm going to be speaking about this coming up soon. I'm going to keep poking on this because I lived in Santa Cruz, California, and I lived at 632 Water Street, the Breakers Apartments. Yeah, that place was very shady. Um, I didn't think that it was that much drug usage and people that were on fentanyl. When I first got to the city, coming off the freeway, there's a bridge, and underneath the bridge path, like I guess you could say underneath another bridge that you see going along getting off the bridge, the underpass, you can see like there's like probably I would say it was like over I say 200 people, and then they moved them slowly down to a park, and then it grew from 200 to 300 to four. I was like, geez, Louise, and it was rapid out there, rapid use, drugs. I did security at a company out there, at I would say a grocery store, and it was just rapid, just theft. I've never seen that much theft, but the one thing I noticed over there, they didn't close their stores down. But here in the Bay Area, I noticed that when it's people of my nationality stealing from stores, it becomes like a gigantic, it's a issue, it's the biggest issue in life. But I noticed when I was there, these guys were walking out with shopping carts. I mean, they were doing it like 12 or 7 times per day and didn't miss a beat. And even the little kids. And I wanted to also share this. I know some people may have heard of the recent incident that happened out there last year, the year before, where the lady had the kids at the house and they were coming to the store stealing alcohol. I actually caught some of those kids and I had to make a report, which started a whole, snowball downhill thing because I was doing security. And these kids were like probably, I would say, uh, 12 and 13. They were very young little kids. Um, and they were in there with, I mean, like, geez, Louise, they had like 5 or 6 bottles of hard alcohol. and they had a vehicle. They were coming back and forth, and I guess what happened was when the city that they were in, they got burnt out from stealing in that area. So what they were doing, they were coming all the way down to the Santa Cruz area because they felt it was much more easier pickings, and because of the highway and how fast it is to get back on, and if you get off and take that old highway, you can go all the way to Santa Cruz, all the way from Santa Cruz all the way to San Francisco. You can go to Daly City. You can go to multiple different stops. But I'm just stating to you, it was like just an easy pickings area. I just didn't understand how they allowed it to go on for so long and how no one did anything about it. And I guess um, when I decided to tell my company about it, I guess they went back and they got some loss prevention. Loss prevention did their investigation. Investigation led to this woman having a bunch of kids at her house. And after that, it went on to police, law enforcement. Then it went on to more stuff. And then the woman was caught. And as you can see, if you go back to the information, you can see that they were talking about how they were driving the kids with child pornography, child, um, you know, rape. They were doing all these weird activities. I didn't think this was going on in, all around us in America. But as I started to get older, I started to see there's a lot of human trafficking going on. Even today, where I work at, I kind of like catch slight people, you know, seeming as if they're being, human trafficked, and people act like they don't even see it. They was just allowed to go by. I see a woman, she's, trying to look for some help or a sign, and people are just avoiding her. And I just think it's very sad that we live in this day and age where somebody can actually grab a kid or grab somebody else, force them to have sex with them, torture them, and get away with it, and get a very light sentence and don't get a lifetime in jail. I think people of that nature who violate and kidnap women and children and anybody of that nature should get a long time sentence and should be mentally evaluated for a very long time. But as you can see, those type of people are running our society. And that's the very sad part. And that's why I decided to invest in this to speak on these type of things. Because I felt that there was a lot of things going on and people were just avoiding them and not saying anything. And even in my area where I grew up at in San Francisco, um, there were a lot of individuals that would sometimes allow young women to go out and sell drugs for them because they didn't want to get caught. But the sad thing about that, they destroyed a lot of those young women's lives because when those young women got caught, they built very large criminal records on themselves and put them in a position to not be able to, get the things that they need in life. And now they have criminal records for the rest of their life due to a mindset and a lifestyle that was just basically fake. And yes, I'm here to tell you the gangster life is truly fake. It's not real. It's not what it seems to be. It's just weak. It's not real nowadays. It never was really real because, like I said, the whole point was the enemy brought the drugs there. So if the enemy brought the drugs there, what do you think their whole purpose was bringing them there for? To destroy you. And as you can see, these laws protect a lot of different people, but they don't protect us. And these individuals are the ones bringing these drugs here, and they're trying to use us as mules, as capitalism, you know, their American capitalism game, and they wait for us to make all this money, and then they work with law enforcement, and they come in and arrest us, take all our money, seize it, they use it for themselves, and then they go back out and they play another game and go fishing and find a younger young man or young woman who's in poverty and manipulate them with this same game. And as you can see, the most of the population in prison or in these jails are us. There's not a lot of these other people, but they're constantly in our business, right? They're constantly acting like we don't know anything about our own self. But yet and still, they're the ones who are the connects. Am I correct? Who brought fentanyl here? Who brought ISO? Who brought any of these drugs? But as you can see, there's no large investigation being done to them, right? There's no cameras in these people's houses. There's nobody following them. There's nobody trying to stop them from living their life peacefully. There's nobody getting mad at them speaking when they're speaking up about things that are injustices that's going on in society. There's nothing. It's just more of them pursuing us. And like I said, if you were to go to the internet, look up grants, you will see there's lots of grants for a lot of people, but there's not a lot for us. And I kind of understand why a lot of people did do the PPP loans because that was the only time that a lot of people were able to even live their dreams and probably get a lump sum of money that they never had in a long, well, never, some people never had it. This was the first time they ever had any income and money. That's why most people went wild spending the money. And then later on, when the investigations came around, that's why a lot of them got locked up. But you can see, like, it's a lot of depriving, you know, in society. And I don't say this because I'm trying to talk as if I know everything. I'm saying it because I grew up in a impoverished condition. And when I did experience it, I seen firsthand how people treat you. And I still see it now to this day. You know, it's a lot of people that are just very rude and demonic and they're hateful and they're not really grateful for being here. And they are very angry, but they don't even know what they're angry at. And they don't know who allowed them here. Like I said, I voted for Joe Biden. I voted because I wanted to help anybody that was coming here that needed help. Okay. But now I'm starting to see like this guy's situation was not really what I thought it was. And I kind of feel like I'm not sure if I made the right decision at all. Um, I was being pressured not to vote for Trump. But as you can see, all these celebrities voted for Trump. They even supported him openly. Nothing happened to their careers. They were not blackballed. They were not threatened. They were not bothered. They were not messed with. They were not targeted. And as you can see, I don't see the same energy that these people have. Remember, you know, they were all screaming "F this man." Now they're screaming they want this man back. So it just lets you see it's a lot of hypocrite mindset here. They're not really on real time. They're just doing anything and going along to get along. They don't really have a path of their own. They're in a mindset of delusion to me because they feel like as if they can manipulate themselves into the system and then they get into the system and then they act as if they're really with us, but they're not really with us, they're against us. And it's really a manipulative mindset. I don't really too much get down with it. That's why um, I don't really care if people don't like me because, like I said, they never liked me at all. They never liked my culture, never liked my race at all. They may have tolerated me, but they don't like me because I have my own opinions. And people act as if you being a person of my nationality, you're not supposed to have opinion, but they're supposed to be able to march, protest, talk. You know, if bombs go in their country, they can do all this. But somehow you're coming to a country that doesn't even belong to you, and you're trying to tell me what I can and cannot do when you're not even from here. That's like somebody coming in your house telling you to clean up behind them and turn on the TV when they don't own shit inside of your house. And then they're getting food and not showing any type of hospitality sometimes. And I'm not saying um, you owe me anything. I'm just saying it doesn't take much to be a nice person. And that's really, truly the issue nowadays. You know, as you can see, there's a lot of people with negative mindsets. They're very rude. They don't really too much care. They will steal from you. They'll do a lot of cowardly acts. But let you go ahead and do something to them. Um, you'll be seen as a gang member. You'll be seen as somebody that's starting problems. You need a mental health evaluation, even though they're the ones creating the whole issue nowadays, if you can see. Because, like I stated to you, all this stuff that's coming in here is not coming in by nobody that looks like me, and it never has been from day one. If you don't believe me, do your research. I'm going to keep repeating that every time. If you think that I am uneducated, I am idiotic, I have no common sense, then prove me wrong. Do your research. Do your research and see who brought drugs here, who brought them to my community, who's still bringing them to my community, who's still allowing them here. Remember, we can see all the way to space to an alien's ass. We can see an alien's big ass eyeballs. We can even tell you that there's pyramids in space and other planets. But somehow we're not able to find these dumb, ignorant people who live right amongst us, who are cooking drugs and selling them and destroying our society. Isn't that kind of strange? Somebody can tell you everything else, but can't tell you who's selling these drugs and human trafficking right in front of you. Because more than likely, these same people are the ones involved with it. That's why they can't tell you. That's why they're all trying to make it seem like as if you, yourself, and your people are violent and a problem. But the other ones who bring these drugs here and do all these things, they act like as if they don't even see them. And that's why I move the way I do. Excuse me. Had something delicious. Had some guacamole, spicy guacamole, and some chips. And I'm drinking water. But yeah, I digress. It's not a hate thing. It's not a I dislike you thing. It's more of I'm sitting back watching people now and figuring them out because I see a lot of people will say one thing and they will move a whole different way. Um, I've been working all my life, and as I notice more and more as the door opens up, individuals come in and they don't really have the how can I state this the background of certain you know expertise, but because of the fact that they outnumber me or they're willing to do certain things, they're able to get into certain positions. And it kind of compromises a lot of stuff. And I figured out, you know, that this is the game and strategy that they're using. Most of these individuals use the number game. The number game where they will come in multiple groups trying to intimidate you at your job site to get you to quit that job so they can get somebody that looks like them into that position so they can be in a, you know, racial type of, you know, structure. And when I say that, think about it. Um, when most blacks get jobs, we try to hire people, but it's not going to happen with these companies that we work for because they don't want too many of us in there. Because if there's too many of us in there, then that makes more of us in there, and that makes it look like we are very intelligent and we are doing, you know, what we're supposed to do with the society. But to keep the narrative going, you're going to limit, and when you limit, um, it becomes a bias, and then becomes a bias. They start only hiring a certain, you know, ethnic group of people, and then what they'll do, they'll overpopulate that group over you. And then, as you can see, the same thing they told you that they couldn't hire people that look like you, but they'll hire this group. And then they'll come with this narrative that you're, they don't want to have any gangs and, things of that nature. And that's why I said I push for us to get our own money again. I keep pushing for this because I think if we get our own money, we will shock the world. We will shock the whole existence of society because I think that we're people that can make nothing into something. And we can do it any which way you look. And we've been doing it for so long that even the stuff that we made from nothing, other people are now using that same format just to have a income. And that's crazy. But yet and still, They'll tell you that you're not intelligent, smart enough to perceive anything unless you have a degree. And I believe that that's sometimes not real because I think that's a Western civilization mindset. You know what I mean? You have people that are tribes and other things of that nature that don't have degrees that can build and do the most, you know, how can I state this? Spectacular amount of architecture or architect work or anything of that nature without any common knowledge about anything that they would need or special tools. And they've been doing this for so long, they know it by heart. So I believe these things are already embedded in us, and our spirituality has multiple different layers that we have not yet um, uncovered because of these barriers that are placed upon us. And for some reason, people don't want to let us out of these barriers, and they keep trying to find multiple different ways to blame us for their personal um, problems. As you can see, I'm not here to point out anything, but I'm trying to state to you, most other groups ride with them and they ride with themselves. They will dip and dabble into helping you, but they're not going to fully commit themselves. For some reason, my group, we allow anybody in, and these people don't have the greatest intentions for us. And we don't call them out on the shit that they do, but they want to tell on everything you're doing. And I don't really too much understand that because it's not really solid. But like I said to you, it's more than meets the eyes that goes on here in America. Um, some people would say you have to be an expert in age and time. I don't think so because I know it's pretty much tons of little children that can tell you about the bad experiences they already had that look like me with people that don't look like them. And I know people in America would say, "Oh, everything is a race with you. Everything is color. Everything is skin color. You keep talking about people oppressing you. Um, you're bringing all this negativity and all." Um, Anything I'm saying, I'm pretty much sure there's millions of other people that look like me would say the same exact thing to you. What I believe is, like I stated to you, everybody else is given their income to increase their wealth in this country and in this world and to establish themselves. But for some reason, I feel like everybody's scared to give us our wealth, to establish ourselves, to increase our income, and to show our status on this planet. It's, it's to me as if they're scared, like they fear us in some type of form or nature. Like they fear us having connection with each other. They fear us having power with each other, and they fear us to have any type of power. And it was said before by your friend who introduced cocaine into our neighborhood. If you go back into the documentary with the group that was out of Oakland, California, and San Francisco, and all over United States of America. I don't want to get into any names because once again, this is the Rose Room discussion. This is based off of entertainment purposes. None of this stuff is real. It's based off of discussion, conversation, dialogue, and information that is passed along to others. I place that also on my wording in my discussion. This is my opinion. This is based on something that I experienced, and this is based on things that I've heard or seen or actually dealt with. So I'm going to take it to that level, and I feel like every person my nationality should be reaching out, getting them a platform, and having these type of discussions because these discussions right here break barriers. They open up people's minds. They give people perspective to know that you're not ignorant. They let people know that you have a conversation and you have something to say. And if we're all American citizens, remember we have the right to express ourselves. Long as I'm not hurting anybody, long as I'm not lying, long as I'm not racially motivated after any group, which I'm not, long as I'm not targeting anybody and being sexist or doing anything to harm anyone. I feel like my opinion and my conversation is something that, you know, everybody in this world express their own opinions and conversations. There's no type of rule or law to that, unless you live in some dictatorship country, which we don't live in a dictatorship yet here in the U.S. Um, but I think we live in a capitalist state. I think we live in a capitalist country, but that's my own opinion. Um, and as you can see, the isms are always something to deal with. They're always something to, have a good debate about. What I do want to speak on, I'm getting to my last couple. I'm going to be shutting this down around 10:40. As you can hear, that's another slap in the background. This time I decided to play my music in the background while I talk because I know, like I said, other platforms, they didn't ban my stuff, but Facebook, for some reason, my algorithm here is always kind of touched. I may get 100 fans, and I may get 20, and I may get 14, and then they may cut the music on my stuff, and they may cut some of the sound, and you know how it goes. There's always some type of lightweight, underhanded stuff going on. And they'll tell you the same thing, like I keep stating, that you're in some countries, this and that. But I just think this is purposely done to certain people because they don't want us to have that type of conversation. They're much more happy with us putting uh, things on there that are very violent, negative, comical, and things of that nature. I mean, if I was on here with a gun, I bet you if I had my Glock or any other type of firearm on my own, and I was pointing at the screen and talking about killing somebody or spinning the block on somebody in my old neighborhood or things of this nature, I guarantee you none of my stuff would be algorithm wouldn't be blocked, and I guarantee my conversation would be blocked because they would want to hear me threaten another person that looks like me. But when you have a dialogue to talk about things that's going on with you right now, that is, political from a point of view of a person in my perspective, um, it makes a lot of people butt hurt because they want you to not have any type of conversation or dialogue about things that's going on about you in your life or in your community. They just want you to go along to get along. And why is that? And as you can see, we're heading into this year of 2024. And think about it. All these laws have been passed to protect everybody else, but there's no laws to protect us. All this money has been given to everybody else, but there's no money given to us. These lightweight programs that we on that everybody takes advantage of in America, which they're all on, because I lived in Santa Cruz, and when I lived in Santa Cruz, the majority of people that were in Section 8 were not African American. When I actually went down there to a place to see about the program, majority of people are all Caucasian and other nationalities. There were like probably 5 or 6 black people, and they're very skeptical of trying to let anybody sign up for the program. So let you see, man. A lot of these things in society are not for us. Even when I tried to go get some stamps one day, when I, at the time had a hardship where I lost my, I had moved and couldn't find a place at the time, and I was transit for a very short time. I had to go get, a little something to hold me over. These people grilled me like as if I was a fucking terrorist from another country coming to America just taking funds. But I noticed that other people were just getting tons of money. They were using it, stealing it, scamming it, using different names. I even seen one guy on the news. He had a PPP loan. He had over, I think it was 100 food stamp cards, and he had over 1,000 EDD unemployment Bank of America cards. And this individual stole all kind of people's Cadillac converters. And on top of that, to put the fucking icing and the cherry on the fucking cake or the pie, really. This motherfucker had a human trafficking jump off going on in a massage parlor that he owned. And he was a person that came from another country, got nationalized citizenship for a short period of time or something like that. I'm not sure 100%. Don't quote me, boy. I didn't say shit. This is something I've seen on the news. And He was protected by laws that allowed the U.S. not to prosecute him. Now imagine this: this man has been doing this for over 10 years, prostituting young women. These women having sex with men on a daily basis, living inside of a massage parlor, seven or eight of them on three or four little beds with little bathtubs that they're pushing this stuff into their bodies, and they're all sharing the same water with diseases. And they're having sex with men coming in there. While he's stealing Cadillac converters, stealing your taxpayers' dollars with unemployment, stealing food stamps from people who really need them, and stealing Cadillac converters from U.S. citizens that have to go to work every day and pay their bills and work hard for the cars. This is crazy. And you won't hear nothing about this, huh? But I bet you if it has something to do with a drive-by, a gang, or anything of that nature, it will make national fucking news because that's more important to fixate on ignorance in our community and other things of that nature. But when it comes to people coming here doing stuff like that and getting away with it, it's just amazing of the stories I can tell you. That's just one of the stories I heard from 2 years ago, and that was when the pandemic hit. Um, I lived in a city that was not predominantly of my nationality, of another nationality, and I'd never seen so many people lined up for those benefits. I said, "Wow, this is crazy." Man, the line was like around the corner and around the corner. So it went around one corner, around another corner, and around another corner. And these were all people that didn't want to work and were getting this COVID. And the funny thing about it is, nobody had fucking COVID. Not one person in line was coughing. I said, wow, this is amazing. And then we hear about the governor stating that California was lost $1 billion something plus dollars. This is crazy. I don't blame him. I think he's a good, cool individual. Um, I think he knows his stuff. He's been doing a good job thus far. I didn't see. But some of the stuff that goes on here, like wow, it needs to be really looked at, policed really hard. I think if they spent the same energy that they use, for all of us on our algorithms, on our Facebook, and all these other different, platforms that they watch us on and investigate every little thing we're doing and taking pictures of your money. And if you put money on there, they want to take pictures of the serial codes. They want to know what you're doing, where you're at, who you with. It's a lot of information they use to follow us, but we don't never follow them around. You notice that they follow us everywhere we go and want to know everything we're doing. We don't know nothing. We don't even know what they're doing at all. As you can see with the food, we don't even know if they're putting in the food. Like I said in my last podcast show, the food is very, very dire. And I'm telling people, you got to change your diet now. Exercise, eating right. Your health is your whole body and it's your strength. Without that, you're not really, you don't have any use in society. And the way the enemy breaks us down is by allowing all this stuff to break us down physically, mentally, and spiritually. And the first thing they do is with the stuff that we digest, they put it in our system. And what happens? We get cancer, colon cancer. We get all these things going on with us that we don't know about because of these foods that we're intaking. They don't tell us anything. And in some of these countries, like I've been to Canada, some of this shit that we're eating, they don't even allow in certain places. It's crazy. I've been to Mexico before. What I'm trying to state to you is that this is a lot of places have higher standards, and I just don't understand how we are the cream of the crop. Sorry about that, cream of the cop. I said cream of the cop. Uh, Sorry about that. I'm not a cop. I apologize. I have nothing against law enforcement. My uncle used to be a police officer. I have nothing against him, but that just blurted out wrong. I didn't mean to say cop. The cream of the crop. That's what I meant to say. And how we're at the highest pinnacle out of any place, and we're seen as the place where everybody wants to come to. For some reason, The food that we eat and digest is not even legal in other countries. Why is that? These discussions can go on and on and on. I can go on and on to the break of dawn, to the early morn. You know what I mean? But that's something I wanted to leave you with tonight. I just feel like I wanted to speak on that. This is my second uh, podcast show for the Rose Room discussion. I was supposed to have a guest today. I didn't guess. I had to go to the gym and work out, so it didn't work out. And plus, the person I was going to interview anyway, he's more interested in something else at this point in time when it comes to, you know, his lifestyle. So I left that alone. I will try to push to have somebody else on here. We'll have a deep conversation back and forth, touch on some little things because I think there's a lot of stuff that needs to be talked about in society right now. And like I said, I don't want to ruffle any feathers. I don't want to burn any bridges, but I do want to speak the facts. And I do want to tell people that there's a lot of racist people out there, and a lot of people do not like us. And they find every little small reason to have an issue with us. And what they use is the same game that's been used for years. It's the separation game of one gets the field, one gets the house. One gets respect, one doesn't. One can eat better, one can live better. It's always a segregation game with them. They never give us the full amount of respect and give us what they owe us. Why is that? You see what I mean? Why is that? And like I stated, my uncle's been in the military. My grandfather's been in the military. Both of my cousins are currently in the military. Me, myself, I done been in the Forest Service. I've been there, did firefighting for 9 years. Risked my life, saving other people's properties, land, and lives. And yes, I did save a couple of lives when I was doing it. I don't expect a damn gold or a medal or nothing like that. I just did it because that's what you're supposed to do as a human being. But um, the funny thing about that story, I also was in a. I was telling my mom about this. I was at a place in called Viejas. It's in Southern California. It's toward if you go towards Alpine, if you're going past El Cajon, it's towards San Diego. We worked on the area where I actually found a large mound, like a temple or something, and I found a bunch of clay, um, you know, pottery. I was supposed to get recognition, recognized for doing that, recognition for it. But these individuals, how they play in their bias game. They didn't put my name on it. But yes, I discovered that. Um, I was on a crew with people when I was in the California Conservation Corps. We made history as the first crew ever to go out of state, ever in the history, to fight a national disaster fire. Um, it's just a lot of stuff I can go into. Keep going and going. But I'm just saying, don't give up on your dreams. Don't let people discourage you, and don't let anybody bully you. You know, because you're here to achieve, and don't let people tell you that you and your race or you as a person are not worthy of all the stuff that you deserve. You deserve everything in life and everything that you want. Don't let anyone hold you back. And this is the Rose Room discussion. I'm gonna holler at you next time. I'm about to bounce up out of here. It's about to be 10:40. Just like I said, this is a song that I made with a sample of Redman. It's also on my album. It's called Fire Origin. I have another album called Fire Origin 2. Both of them show my recent history of all the fires I've been to. That's some of them, not all of them, because I've been to more than 100. But yeah, it just shows you the acreage and everything else. So it's just showing you a little bit of my history. And I just like to always show people and give my, you know, background. So that way a person can understand I come from a lot of different stuff. I just don't, talk shit. I walk it. just like how I talk it. So, you guys have a great night. Stay strong. Be real.